Afternoon everybody. This is one I should have done before Christmas. It's just a simple ball puzzle game. And you've seen them probably many times. Plastic versions. This one is all Meccano, even the ball bearings, which may or may not be a good thing. So basically, as you can see there, there's 3 balls already in the holes. You manoeuvre the ball around to get the ball bearings into the small holes, hopefully without it doing that. Now, it's a simple construction, and I found it in a variety of simple puzzles in a Meccano magazine article for Christmas, 1954 I think, so December 54 or around that time, and I've since found it much earlier than that in the 1930s as well. You will need 1 boiler end cap, 1 wheel flange, 4 standard bolts, 4 nuts, 4 washers, 4 fish plates and 4 ball bearings. Now, I appreciate that 3 of these parts you may find a little bit more awkward to get hold of now, but they are available via Meccano dealers, eBay of course, but some of them easier to get hold of than others. This part here, the wheel flange, this was available in zinc plate back in about 2010-ish in the Super Construction set. That's the one of them that comes in a rather decent suitcase, sort of silvery grey plastic suitcase. There's at least 2 in that set, I think. The boiler end caps, yes, a little bit more awkward to get hold of. Probably not been available since the mid-90s from Meccano themselves. The ball bearings, those are original Meccano ball bearings, and sometimes they're not particularly round. These aren't bad, but of course they are old as well. Now, I'm not sure whether 1 or 2 of them are a little bit magnetised. 1 or 2 seem to follow each other. That's my excuse for the puzzle anyway. Of course, standard bolts, nuts, washers. Pretty easy to get hold of washers in sets at the moment. There's quite a few in some of the more modern sets, or very modern sets. And 4 fish plates. I'm going to attempt to put this together on camera. Shouldn't take too long, I'll say that, with fingers crossed. Just put the balls in there so they don't run away. They do have a tendency to disappear. Talking of the ball bearings, I don't like not using Meccano. I always like to use Meccano. If Meccano made a suitable part that you can use, then get on with it, use Meccano. However, I appreciate that ball bearings are going to be quite awkward to get hold of. It's going to have to be a dealer job really, although you might be lucky on eBay. Just a simple case of bolt, fish plate, washer behind it, put it through the side of the boiler end cap, tighten it up. So yeah, ball bearings. Now, I did have a look before I bought the Meccano ball bearings from a dealer. I did have a look on eBay just for simple ball bearings, and you'll probably be able to find a supplier, maybe not locally, but you'll probably find one that's on the web. And if you do it that way, they are 3/8 of an inch diameter ball bearings, or 9.5mm. That's the size it says to use. So I can appreciate some parts being very awkward to get, and from that respect it's not such a bad thing to not use Meccano. But if you can use Meccano, you should always try and use Meccano. Meccano Zone is about Meccano, not somebody else's system, even though it may be very close, almost the same as Meccano. It's about Meccano, simple as that. And if you don't like it, well, you can always go somewhere else. Now, that might be a bit snotty, but the clue's in the name, you know. And I suppose this day and age, a lot of people have not heard of Meccano, but they may have, you know, heard about it a little bit, and they think just because it's got holes in it, the construction system is Meccano. Well, it's not. So yeah, Meccano Zone is about Meccano. The clue is in the name. I don't care whether it's, and I'm going to mention another make, Marklin, which is almost exactly the same for historical reasons, but we won't go into that. So yeah, if it's Meccano, Meccano Zone is the place to go. or one of the places, there are others. So there we are, all 4 fish plates mounted on the sides of the boiler end cap. Now those of you who can't get hold of such things as say the boiler end cap, I haven't tried it and I don't like doing it, but if you do have a Super Construction set, try this for an idea. I don't think you've got any formed slotted strips in that set, but you've got at least 2 of these. So you use one for the top, one for the bottom, and in between try bending some strips to get round the fact that you haven't got a boiler end cap. Possible way of doing it, I suppose. Don't like bending them, as I said before many times, that's not my thing, but I'll just put these balls in my pocket for the moment. And just one last thing to do. Now you might find this a little bit stiff. These are quite thick, these fish plates, because the coating on is quite thick. They're from a not Rienzi Roost really, but they called it a vintage set, I don't know, 10-15 years ago probably now. And they made odd colours. Now the colours are a bit weird, but it does mean that people can't pass them off as an old set, which is a good thing. And I've got 4 in this nice green colour. And of course I built this before Christmas, well just before Christmas, red and green sort of Christmassy colours. So you may have to tease these out a little bit to start with, and then it's a case of putting your balls on the top and having a bit of a play. Now I won't take all day about this, and one's gone in already, so I've lost one. As you can see, they can get stuck behind each other. That was a bit of luck with the first one, getting that in. Second one I wasn't really looking. So as you can see, the snag with this is that there's no recess at all in the small hole. So there's no little dish, little concave dish to hold the ball in place, and that's what makes it a little bit more awkward, because you've got to be very gingerly like that. Now the fact that the Meccano stainless steel ball bearings, or stainless steel, or chrome plated ball bearings, I don't know, the fact that they are not quite round, they're old, may hinder you in rolling, but of course it may mean that they hold in the holes a little bit better. But it can be done, but you've got to be very gingerly with your movements, because otherwise the balls will just go flying past the holes. So, see there, I was a bit too soon to stop leaning it over. So a very simple construction, as long as you've got the right part. It's very simple. I'm sure it would be easy, fairly easy to get round some of the parts, like the boiler end cap. Marbles may be a little bit too big because they wouldn't be able to flow around here so easily. So I did think of it as an option, but so there we are. One chap who had a go at this at work just before Christmas called that, it's gone in now, I wanted to go down the middle hole, called it the sound of death when a ball goes down the middle. So there you go, simple, fun, perhaps just for a short time, easy construction, and a way of getting other people involved in Meccano by having a go with it. Bye for now.